do you want to go aggressive somewhere to get that little bit of information? And pistol round will get underway. BDGS starting on their T side. Very odd smoke towards Arch. That's normally what I don't like to see because it's a very shallow smoke. But look, 3 players in towards A for the side of Vetrani, 2 players in towards B. This is a bait setup. So yeah, the first player has to take contact. The stroke gets swatted. Oh, the crossfire being held, and yeah, BDGS running straight towards the site. They get obliterated by the 3-man setup in pit. Vetrani off the pistol. Very solid start.
Yeah, I gotta commend them with that impeccable defense that we just see on that side. And I thought that, you know, there was at least a little bit of a chance for them to pick somebody off, especially with that 3-man rush in. So I'm pretty much impressed overall. Now, going towards our second round, we do see Blue Mag 10s holding purchase. Bombs in the hands of Insane. Well, Incendiary is being popped off already as there is a little bit more pressure on towards Banana this time around as compared to before. Now, let's see. Where can the side of BDGS actually open things up? And there's going to be a little bit of a force push. And that is a nice double coming out from Nos Sataki.
Yeah, the B6 open as well, right? They didn't expect players there. What was there from Notasaki? It's the second round.
Oh my goodness gracious, just look at Leastro now going in for a little bit of a stab with the bullets, and same goes to Stranger, hoping to connect the shots. But with the smoke blinding the way, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but Vetrine alongside with Zane, they will clip Strangers down, and it's going to be a little bit of seconds on the clock, and now one more kill on the way. Well, Zaville tries to find the corners of players, and he does land a couple taps. But he needs to connect this one. What a round this was, as it ties in 1 each.
Yeah, the force by walking out for BDGS. I was just about to say, right, when we saw Vetrani opt to use their smoke for the bottom of Banana, they hadn't actually cleared it properly yet. Or BDGS, in fact, they got in front of the smoke, and thus it rendered the smoke useless. But you know, for the side of Vetrani, the CT side, they thought that it was clear and they wanted to take Banana control. And instead they were made to pay for it as players were in front and they didn't expect it. And yeah, what a round for Sataki. It's ridiculous. The third one towards CT spawn, it's not allowed. And because of that, Vetrani have to go for a little bit broken by. You can see 2 players having to go full eco, not having lost ones to fall back on. And then MP9, 257s, not the most enticing of buys at all.
Indeed, and now we did see the side of BDGS now holding back, hopefully getting a little bit of pick-off. He spots a pixel coming out, and this Sataki, the man that secured a triple on the previous one, has been able to just negate that sort of push coming out of Vetrani. Now, it will be pretty much a scar spread out forces of the side of Vetrani, as they are sending the other 4 members on the other side. So I wonder if BDGS will fall for this one.
They shouldn't, because they've got 2 players already up the top Banana. Yeah, the bomb's cheating over now, so they might just thank the lucky stars that they managed to avoid the A stack, but they still need to find the kills on towards A, because the Astro clearing out middle drops the bomb. That's a huge scouting find, and now it's panic mode now for VDGS, because Vetrani, they've been offered a way back into the round. Player trying to retrieve the weapon. B has fallen, so long as Vil can get over to this B side, the round should still be secure. So yeah, left it a little bit late there, and you know, Strangers probably shouldn't have been caught out mid with the bomb by himself. But yeah, they do stabilize fortunately, and so it should be ending on the force by walls. That is until Yestro finds one. Now it's a 3-on-2. Vil hunting for the trade, will get it, and so now 2-on-2.
My. Now, there's a good take-up coming in from the side of Zane. Trying to actually leverage on that peak, and this time around, they will be giving over this point to Vetrani, as they will be getting themselves ahead just by a point. So, with enough seconds on the clock, this is where they should have pretty much a full buy this time around.
Yeah, but a little bit surprising to see Vetrani come out on top, but you can see now a little bit odd, right? Money for both sides, right? Because neither team has any loss bonus to fall back on, and that means that BDGS, they have to keep a little bit of residual cash even though they want to go in for a little bit of a half buy. So to suggest something faster, given that only Zavale has any bit of useful utility, right? One Molotov has been deployed already. Banana Take coming out from Vetrani, trying to take down this part of the map, and they do find the opener. It is against pistol though, so they might just want to fall back before it's too late. We saw them get punished for it for similar maneuver earlier on. This time they take Banana at a different timing. They take it straight out of spawn, and yeah, they do get rewarded for it.
And yeah, and I do believe that this time around, Vetrani is showcasing a whole lot better control of the Banana, as there is 4 members remaining that's looking to cut across these apartments. So it's going to take quite a while. Now, BDGS, with such scarce resources, I think they're holding up just decently at the very least, while 2K as well as Stranger Ones has already been dropping down to less than 50% of health, while Strangers, of course, just trying to hang on. Now they're going back towards Banana.
Ooh.
And oh, what just happened there?
Exchangers unfortunately DC, so 30 seconds left. Smoke been deployed as well, so yeah, BDGS, you won't want to walk through it, but I think they do not have much of a choice either. Right, you can see Vetrani holding on to the right amount, dropping them at the right time, and so now Sandman right in front of the Smoke, easy pickings, as he will find himself all 3 kills. Vetrani, keep it clean. That's a very good sign, because now they can build a bit of an economy moving forward, making sure that they can get all the bits and pieces of utility that they would want. And you can see, right, Sandman 6,000 cash remaining in the bank, and you see the rest as well, quite a little bit. Although it's not much as of yet, but BDGS, they have to take another half buy just to be able to get the guns out next round. So again, the worst seems to have gone by for Vetrani, and now they can possibly put themselves up on 2-4.
Right. Now, we did see quite a good recall control coming out of Sandman, and we would expect him to show up once again. Now, a great notion coming in just to ensure that they keep every one of these members of the Vetrani out of sight. And Steven will drop a little bit of a smoke as Hazard gets the high elevated angles there just to do a little bit of damage, but not enough to actually flip him down. Now Leastro will finish the job, so there will be Nosataki just to hopefully cover fire, but then again, just down in the sewers there. Nothing much that he could possibly do. Quite a distance for him to cover. Steven lands a couple of bullets on towards Wat2X, but this will result in some of the players of BDGS to fall back.
Yeah, so I think BDGS are intentionally kind of slowing it down as well, right? You don't want to just rush somewhere. Now Leastro might just farm a couple of kills in middle, right? SMG, $600 kill bonus, but he just gets hit ripped off in the end. So yeah, now that BDGS have kind of expanded the utility on the side of Vetrani, they can try to go for a couple of kills. Not to be though, because Insane will find the frags that he has to, preserving the M4, which means now Leastro can whip out the AWP. I think BDGS might not expect this, so let's see if the op is able to find a quick opener. But now they've got all the utility they want on that T side, so this is going to be the first indication of whether or not BDGS can hang it with Vetrani.
That's right. Now Nosataki just passing the C4 over as Leastro now gets into position. He's looked for that frag, and wow, they find Strangers, and now getting a little bit flustered up. Nosataki will still need to fend off against 2. So this defense looking heck of solid as of the moment. And you can see that there's not going to be much of a room for BDGS to brute force their way for the time being.
Yeah, the only sort of gap we can see at the moment is on A, right? If they do decide to do an apps pop, it's only hazard to retrieve them. But you can see the fact that they've got both banana as well as brackets means that Ventrani, they're not too worried, right? Even if the players were to come out apps, the Oppo can just find one or two picks, and then all of a sudden it's a man advantage again. The fact that they've lost banana control, BDGS, they can't cross. Nosataki has to be very cautious of the many different angles the skis can be at banana, and this is slowing down the play. 40 seconds left on the clock. Still a bulk of utility to work with on this T side, but I'm afraid at the moment, whatever they do, it might just be a little bit too telegraphed. But let's see if they can break apart the crossfire. Two players in or towards the side. Zane will rotate over as well. Now player jumping out of the apartments will fall, and it's all so split up on the side of BDGS. But Trenny is still very comfortable, yeah.
There's not much opening for them, and Millie gets cut off as well. Ather will be able to find Y2K, and yep, like you said, well coordinated coming in from the side of the Trenny, and I don't see a way either for BDS to really find themselves in a clear-cut, precise way to just get that plan down anyways. So now 5-1, BDGS, they don't exactly have much of all these sort of the money to actually make big purchases, so they will go pretty much on the economical side. And man, this is looking tough.
Looking tough, but perhaps a faster apps play, and this is the gap that we saw earlier, right? The fact that BDGS, I think they realized that round there was nobody in pit, which means at best there should be only one guy, and that's gonna be towards Carpet. It's gonna be Hazard. So if they trade him, then that's the A side open for taking, peeking, and Hazard spots it out, drops his incendiary. Are they gonna rush him down? They will. Whoa. Is he gonna find one? Yes, he does. Two as well, but ER traded it out. But now the cavalry has arrived. One player still on the side, but bomb irretrievable for BDGS. They need to get it across, and they need to get it planted to at least get the plant bonus, but that's looking a bit of a difficult task as well. Zavil sunk into his mini pit, pops the head of Liastro, picks up the bomb for his troubles, but Ventrani, still, with the man advantage, is incredibly low. They spot the bomb out to its pit, and now the incendiary not going to flush him out for the Oppa, given that one has really crossed in towards mini pit. But the two players on BDGS, they're in the trap. It's difficult for them to move an inch.
Oh boy, what a rush coming from Stranger Ones. And with that, it only leaves Zavale, who's only got that Deagle to work with. So it's going to be priming a little bit of a nade down low. And I do believe all that Ventrani can do is perhaps wait for him to react. And, oh my goodness! That's going to be an important pickup, and there goes the plan. Right, and just buying a little bit of time, hoping to pick things up. And then Zane, the advantage here. As much as he's having only 17 health, as he'll pick up the op before going for the fuse. Plenty of time to just do so. Well, gobbles, man. This round was looking relatively close, but Zavil went down to the wire this time around. And yeah, Deagle versus any rifles out there, I guess when you get spam perfectly, it's a little bit tad easier.
Yeah, but a couple of good shots as well, right, from BDGS. The Deagle's really making the rifles sort of a trendy sweat. But given that was a half buy, it's good economic damage, right? 4 players killed, bomb plant as well. That's pretty much everything you want. Now they can get the AWP out onto Wet 2X as well. So I want to see a little bit more banana control coming out on this T side, which is why we're gonna see Wet 2X. I think using his Molotov towards the top of banana, it's gonna be Nosataki. In fact, denying CT aggression, and that's forced the two counter terrorists to fall back into the site. So now BDGS, they've got their opponents a little bit back now, and so Ventrani have to play a little bit on the back foot, right? A little bit more reactionary, they have to guess a little bit more as to what BDGS are gonna throw. Because if you have banana, it's very obvious. You can just play 4 towards A and you can just have one guy jump spawning banana. But now with information denied Ventrani, they make this a little bit more. Considering how the last round went, it's gonna be a little bit more cautious, and more importantly, BDGS starting to look a little bit sharper as the match goes on.
Indeed, and I really want to see how they would apply a little bit more pressure, as now there will be a smoke as they will be lobbing it from the banana section all the way in towards side. But Trini now gets a little bit of advantage by taking down Earl. And now Nosataki is going to be seeing whether or not can he find any pickup from push. But then again, Vetreni having a whole lot more discipline for this entirety of the round. Center is on the ground. And now Leandro gets picked too.
Yeah, so now the A attack is gonna come in, play into it long. They do spawn around. Nosataki needs to entry, one play into his mini pit still. He needs to hold his ground. Insane. It's good for 2. Sets up his teammate for the 1v2 clutch.
My goodness me, this guy is coming from the BGS when they were ready for the full push. You can see that they make no mistakes. Yeah, they do have a couple of trade down here, but it's still entirely possible as soon as you have the Yopping hand. Oh, he does connect the shot, but not enough for a recovery. Stephen A saves the day.
Oh, so close once again for Vetreni. BDGS nearly getting across the line, but they do manage to win out the decisive 1 versus 1. Managing to save over the AWP as well, but Vetreni, they've got a good bank to fall back on, right? So despite the rounds being close, I'm surprised to see a couple of players still with more than $10,000 in the bank before the buy this round, whereas BDGS, they're able to buy back once again because they've kept the round so close and they've got the bomb down. These are good signs coming out from BDGS, but if they can't get it onto the board, then it's still a concern as well. You know, BDGS, that so close, right? You can see they were in a disadvantageous position as well. So good recovery, but still no cigar. Second mid aggression as the offer peaks, unable to find a kill. But once again, banana control relinquished over to the CT side.
Right, and you're gonna see that Vetreni now playing a little bit more aggressively just to establish the control over towards banana. And that forces the rest of BDGS just to fall backward a little bit more. And just making sure that they were to go in with some preemptive taps, hoping to connect, but then again, going up to the urban series is gonna be Seville all alone. He might just be getting himself in quite a messy situation if you advance even further. So for now, they're gonna take a little bit of chill pill. Gets spotted out once again, and oh boy, just through the corners of the smoke, the Astro finds one.
Yeah, 5 on 3 now, so Vetreni, they can just play safe, right? You can see this is why the 2 B players, despite having banana control, have fallen back onto site. But BDGS slowly and surely creeping their way up towards the second letter of the alphabet, and now CT Smoke will be deployed. Incendiary drop slows the attack down a little bit. Insane getting mollied out. Needs to throw the flash early, yeah, the players can dodge it. Like he needs to find the entry once again. He's been so good at doing that. On the second play up towards second oranges, will find 1 Stephen H, 2, now possibly a 3rd. Looking for the headshot, not going to connect.
Oh, behind him though, he's pretty much alerted from the bill now. Being the last man standing once again, is getting pretty much flashed upon. And now holding on towards about Ali, and Seville will be able to find it. Now 2-man push, but let's be a clutch. Unfortunately, no. Leastro with a real close one. He just goes in for the stare down and says, "No, you're not gonna get any round from me." Vetreni now extends it to 8.
It's so close. Last 3 rounds, it's been down to the 1 versus 1, and all 3 rounds as well, the bomb's been planted, and again, despite BDGS going a man down pretty early on, and in fact this time it was a 3-on-5, so BDGS, if they just do not give up that opening pick, I think they might be good to actually put the second round on the board. But wow, it's so close. But surely right now you've had a couple of rounds that felt so similar in nature, right? Close, but just not getting over the line. And if you're BDGS, do you start losing a little bit of momentum? Do you start losing a little bit of hope, right? It's like, yeah, we're so close, but for some reason we can't get it over the line.
Yeah, so close yet so far. And I do believe that if they were to go at a very similar pace and just sharpen their claws a little bit, they might just be able to break open the defensive side of Vetreni. And especially if they can just ensure that not only Zavale survives, maybe alongside with Nozataki, I believe they will have enough firepower to book. Now, let's see what goes down here, because over on towards Banana, there will be 2 men that will be able to cross, and here goes what? 2x! Oh, a nasty shot coming in. And there you go. Being popped up. Nozataki once again getting a very good flick up to top that box, and now Liastro tries to check over on the other end, but it seems to be a really good pick over and over again coming from the side of Nozataki, and it's only down to 2 members of Vitreni. I believe that this should be an effective push that has been able to result into a single man that's still standing for Insane.
The sole difference maker this round, the fact that they do find the opener at last, right? Wet 2x with the kill in towards the player, trying to shoulder pick from CT, trying to spot out information, trying to get cheap information for free, right? But he pays for it with his life, and again, Nozataki opening up that B side, right, with 2 kills as well. 1 kill on the player boosted up at quad, and a second on the player rotating in from construction. So yeah, both rounds so far that they've won, Nozataki has had quite a big impact, you know, so he needs to continue firing because he is the man responsible for Banana. You can see both rounds that they've won, it has come from that B side. But of course, you want to be able to keep your opponents guessing as well, right? You probably want to win a round or 2 towards A, just to keep your opponents, you know, still, you know, wary towards that side, so that they don't play 3 or perhaps even 4 towards B off the start of the round. So BDGS, it is finally a second round. Let's see if they can keep up that momentum. I'm certainly rooting for them at the moment. They have a couple of good signs to offer. So early 3-man lean towards B, such as heavy banana take with a fallen flash being thrown, and yeah, banana take incoming. Liastro finds the opener once again to Strangers. Walking out mid, yeah, not the best of decisions, especially when you know that it's going to be an AWP on the other side.
That's right, and I felt that they weren't all too careful with this maneuver right now. Now, Insane being the one to be moving forward for the side of Vitreni, and they are just bagging on hopes whether or not BDGS will come in eventually. So this position looks to be very much a feasible one, but with most of the members of BDGS now being all stacked back up on towards the banana side, I think that this is going to be a tough one, but 2x, he finds it. Yet again, it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. They have less than 1 minute on the clock, so they have to make quicker decisions from this time onwards.
Yeah, BDGS, they've only got banana control to show for their efforts, right? They do not have any range towards the apartments. For all they know, Vitreni could have pushed. But the only thing they could work in their favor is for the Vitreni. They've shown their opponents a lot of respect. Right? So now they're playing 2 on each side. I think Insane might stop a banana. Headshot, bomb spotted as well. Now his teammates will begin to rotate, and Insane doesn't need to give up any more kills. They're trying to hunt him down, and he's good for a second. Stephen H on site, helping out his teammate Will Swing. And Vitreni, immediate response. BDGS still have enough money to buy back in. Will be the only player who will have to take a sacrifice, but that shouldn't deter BDGS from this buy. But Vitreni though, it's a little bit different, right? We saw just now from Firecrest and Catman, when the team in the advantage knew that they had a pretty decent lead, right? They started taking a lot of map control, you know, taking initiative, trying to take a lot of space, right? Whereas Vitreni, they're showing a lot of respect to BDGS, not pushing unnecessarily, showing some restraint to their aggression. Now, the aggression coming out, Nozataki again finding the opener. This has been so crucial for BDGS, but the trade does come in. And
that's right. It's been looking pretty interesting for the fact that you mentioned that past round, Vitreni giving a lot of room of respect towards BDGS, and this time it's pretty much a no holds barred affair on towards Banana that has been resulting to 2 kills, and Vitreni, they only lost out on Stephen GH, and I believe that it's pretty much all right. But now, heading on towards the other end, this is going to be a little bit more difficult for Vitreni to defend if they were to look for the opener. Liastro again, he tries to pick the second guy, and Zavale, he will be able to stop on the cracks. And here comes Hazard. And Zabale once more. 2 kills. But Sandman will be able to get that guy before he cuts through.
Oof. Just a shooting gallery for Liastro out at long, right? The T's decided to smoke off the incendiary that was deployed, and then just walking through grey screen, that's not what you would like to do. There was a gap there, but with the up holding and with Liastro not missing his shots, leading the way as well for Vatreni, definitely not the player you'd want to be running into. The op has always been playing on A, so if BDGS realize this, means that they could actually try and hit towards B. They know they should have an easy time taking that part of the map. So now Vatreni, they've been forced off, having to concede Banana over to BDGS, but third player is already in rotation.
That's right, and speaking of which, now just playing a little bit more carefully from the side of Vatreni, understanding that there's still quite a number of AKs that is available at hand that has been purchased by BDGS. Now, in terms of utilities, you can see that there's still about 3 more incendiaries that they could utilize to force members of the side of Vatreni out of these strongholds, and we're going to be seeing a couple of lobs coming across as only dropping towards the corner, but Liastro coming with a wall bang as well. Just see the angle there, and speaking of which, make that a double as Steven coming from top of the box, he will be able to pick one up. BDGS now losing in terms of numbers, but it's Zabale that we're speaking of here, 12 HP, and Vatreni, full confidence, marching up ahead.
Yeah, what a read from Vatreni. They knew exactly where BDGS were headed, right? We saw a third player rotated over towards B very early on, and this is, I think, in part due to what we talked about earlier, which is the fact that BDGS, the only successful rounds have always come on B. So naturally, for Vatreni, you'd be more inclined to lean over. You can see all 5 players had completely abandoned the A side round about 1 minute 30. 2 players into a charge and 3 on B. And then Liastro makes his way down middle, no resistance at all. And then that just traps BDGS into having to go for this B play. Which, yes, the execute might have been good, whatever not, but, if you've got 4 players on the opposing team stacked up towards there, that's not going to work out. Rush again towards this A side. Incendiary will deny the advancement. Hazard right in front of the smoke. Looks for one, spots out the second, loses his ammo, and now he'll be traded out. Liastro is still holding strong on side. ERR with the trade. Another op towards long. He can't afford to fall because now ERR has got the AK. Oh, fight one. Ooh. Almost a spray transfer there, but BDGS a fast round towards A again, not working out for them.
Yeah, at the very least, doing a little bit of the economical damage, but then again, Vatreni's got a whole lot of cash stacked up high, especially in the hands of Liastro right now with a total of 10k. Unfortunately for BDGS, they're forcing a buy right now, and if they lose this one, they're going to be going on their pennies right there for the next round. So they have to misplay right here, right now. Oh! What 2x gets caught out once more.
Yeah, true. Just opping. Normally, you'd see oppers be a bit more free-flowing, right? Pick Banana once in a while, and sometimes in towards the apartments. Liastro, he's been in brackets this entire half, but it's always worked out for him. He finds yet another onto her.
Oh boy, I feel like they're just having a little bit of the difficulty here just to advance, especially with Liastro being so sharp on his op. Yep, he did take quite a substantial damage. Now he's only got 60 HP. Enough to pick one more guy out at the very least. Now, moving back towards B, as they are coming across Banana. They're popping those incendiaries, trying to clear off those corner of the walls. And I believe BDGS, they might just be able to do something right across the corner. Smoke being popped up, coming from side of Trinity, just to clear off that passage. If they were to force a way, they'll be blinded off first. And that's where they could, of course, commit with an all-out attack. Now, stranded in Banana, what should they do?
really about a choice, right? 20 seconds left. However, 3 players waiting on this B side for their opponent, so they're just walking straight into the Lions. Then 15 seconds remaining. They've got so much utility. Vitreni not even allowing BDGS to make their way up. So now they a player still boosted up. Insane, unable to be cleared. Although they might still get the trade. But no time remaining. Seville not even able to plant the bomb. Unfortunately, it's going to be a 13-2 half for Vitreni. Strangers struggling quite a bit. 1 kill and 1 assist to show for his efforts. On the rest, on the other side, Liastro, man, he's been insane, insane as well.
Yeah, I gotta definitely commend these two guys as you speak of it. Liastro looking pretty much unstoppable once you pass him that AWP. So now this pistol round is going to be very much vital for the likes of BDGS. And we've seen some really good attacking maneuvers coming out of BDGS. I'm wondering if their defense is even much more solid this time around. Now, there's going to be a little bit of rush coming out towards Banana. It's going to be a 3-member commitment coming in from the likes of BDGS. As they do send out blocks, but oh my goodness!
Perfect flash.
Whoa, pretty much lined up.
Yeah, just trying to take Banana, but you can see there's a player up in the stairs. Oh, Stephen H! What was that? ERR, he was mid-air.
Goodness gracious, this was
been
made to look a little bit too easy, and yep. Speaking of which, Losataki can only do so much in this pistol round, and Vitreni now on to 14. Only 2 more to book this very first point of the match.
Ooh, yeah. And BDGS have a tough decision to make. Do they want to force in, or do they want to eco at least try and play a couple of gun rounds? And they have chosen the latter option, just a single HE grenade onto Nosataki, and the rest just having to make do with whatever they have. Not too enticing, and Vitreni suddenly licking the chops at the possibility of yet another pretty convincing victory, all things considered.
Oh man, here comes a couple of all the tabs that will be able to connect, but Watu-X, he tries to back away. Just understanding that there's a lot more utilities on the way, but Liastro goes into spray now. Strangers once. And I guess that's enough of a warning sign coming out of the side of BDGS. So, members from the side of Vitreni now. Perhaps to cut back on towards B. And with that, Vitreni one off. Liastro only has 11 health, and Hazard! Oh man, he managed to penetrate through, and there goes her.
This was full eco, so they shouldn't have had too high of an expectation heading into it. But now, Vitreni, knowing that they still had the net control, right, can't just lock in the remaining CTs. Not really sure why Insane decided to leave it. But yeah, last 2 remaining players, only a USP and a P2K. So maybe this is where the Mac-10s can try to farm just a little bit. Heading into what will be round number 18. And yeah, 7 men with 1 and a second. Lining up for him again, kind of like what we saw in the pistol. And just like that, Vitreni put themselves onto map point. This is the best of 3 series, of course, but let's remember Inferno, the pick of BDGS. So
that's right, and I felt like on the attacking side, they were looking to be quite confident, but it went down to multiple 1v1s that they couldn't really close out, and it kind of bit them on the back now in the second half. And at least now with a bye, there is a slight chance for BDGS if they can win this one now. In terms of this round itself, Liastro finds that pick. And, well, we're seeing pickoffs after pickoffs, and I don't know how right now could BDGS just cause an upset.
Yeah, going into B as well, no respect at all. Managing to find a trade on the player on the side, but player is still in construction. That will be Seville, unfortunately, meeting his maker. And yeah, 1 versus 3. Nosataki has been the hero part a couple of times and finds one through the smoke. He needs to really go big if he wants to give BDGS a third.
That's right. I think that they expected him to come over other corner, and yes, they will. Vitreni here will be able to secure the very first map here in Inferno. So with that, congratulations to them. They need one more win to advance to the semifinals. So, Gobbles, we've seen some beautiful plays coming out of this one, but then again, BDGS can't seem to overcome the likes of Vitreni. And with that, it's one more map to go, and the next one being Overpass. This is Vitreni's pick, and we are looking at Liastro as our MVP of the match.
Yeah, of course, right? I think this is as you would expect. KD of 3, I think it showcases how impactful he's been with the AWP, and not just getting the opening frags, right? Remember, most of them were actually opening duels that he took. With the AWP, of course, it's a lot favored towards him, but also the fact that he's got so little deaths, stayed alive more often than not, right? So not just opening up the round, but also then staying alive, maintaining the man advantage for your team. But yeah, Vitreni, think they just had the number of BDGS all day long. We are heading to Overpass next, but the one thing that could bode well in the favor of BDGS is this is kind of unlike what we saw earlier, right? We look at Firecrest against Catman as a reference point. Earlier on, Catman didn't really have too much to show, right? They weren't getting the bomb down, they weren't able to get situations close. Whereas on Inferno, BDGS, they had quite a number of rounds where you kept it down to one player or 2 players remaining. So there were openings there, but they just couldn't convert. So it's not all over just yet, and it's not they're not in as desperate of a situation as we saw Catman earlier on. So still a little bit of hope, but I think Vitreni is certainly looking pretty good at the moment.
That's right, and I'm pretty much impressed by the performance, not only from Liastro on the side of BDGS. I gotta say, the SVP from the other end will definitely be Nozataki.
Yeah.
And he's been able to clutch a couple of situations, and also credits going to the side of LaVille, if I do get the name right. So with that, I wonder how would they able to overcome this deficit right now, as we'll be having ourselves ready to get into Overpass right next.
Yeah, thing is, Overpass, let's see, right? Because we saw Vitreni play a lot more conservative on that CT side, I feel. Right, you can see they were giving their opponents a lot of respect, right? So on Overpass, it's a really big map, so you would kind of want to perhaps take a lot more initiative. You've got A long, you've got mid, and you've got monster, and you've got B short. So that's when on the CT side you have to kind of hatch your bet somewhere. It's a little bit more gambly. Same case on the T side, given just the nature of the map. So if Vitreni are going to play this far back onto a side, I'm curious to see if they can make it work out. Of course, it still can, but on a map like Overpass, tends to be less effective. But given that it's the map pick, I think certainly they have a game plan heading onto the map. BDGS though, haven't seen too much of them from Overpass, although they do play it a couple of times. Let's see if they can pick themselves back on the board. Perhaps the CT side at the start might just be more favorable for them, considering how difficult it was for the T side to get going.
That's right. And now with that, we'll have to find out in about 2 minutes time on the clock, as we have already seen a little bit of a glimpse of what both teams can offer on the table. So I wonder if this time around, whether if BDGS will go a little bit more aggressive and, of course, come up with another tactical plan heading towards Overpass. And with this being Vitreni's pick, like you mentioned early on, it definitely will be an order that they will have to overcome in the likeness to be able to qualify for the semifinals of this ROG Masters Asia Pacific Indonesia Finals 2021.
It's still left on the clock. Contra, I guess we can take this time to just look through the rankings. Of course, just a minute before we hit the Overpass. Oh no, apparently we're heading into it right now. Little bit of the sleight of hand, the old hand of God, changing up the trick, and we will be heading in sooner rather than expected. But of course, I guess this is to keep momentum going. With Vitreni now starting up on this CT side, or it's gonna be the 9th round in fact. So pretty important for BDGS to try and win the 9th round. You want this CT side to start on Overpass. It's not like on Inferno where it's pretty balanced. This is pretty CT sided. So yeah, Overpass definitely want to win the knife, and it looks as though Vatreni might just be in a more favorable advantage. No! Sandman! Ooh, almost being able to clutch it out for his team, but unfortunately BDGS will win the round. Oh, wait, BDGS did win the knife round, so that means they're gonna get this CT side at start. So not too bad, all things considered.
Yeah, and this is going to be very much vital, like you mentioned, this being more of a CT-centric map. So, now looking into how it went down on the knife routes, it's interesting to see how he has been able to pull off quite a sort of pick. Now, of course, all things considered, we're seeing a frag grenade on the hands of and also we do have a couple of flashbangs up available from the side of Hazard as well as Liastro. So we'll probably be looking on perhaps a real slow way to start off this pistol round.
Yeah, the slightest of fakes being thrown out towards middle with the flash being thrown, but now it's going to be B-hit coming in. All 5 players out from the monster tunnels. Flash, 1 flash misses. 3 players on the side. Stephen H trying to open up the side. Finds 2. ERR though with the CZ able to find 1 more. There's still another player in towards water. They haven't traded him. Bombs planted. Players still in the smoke. ERR holding his own towards water. And if he finds another, this could be the round for BDGS. 2 versus 2. Liastro up in towards shot. They need to try and isolate the duos, but his teammate is already there to help him. Both players swinging wet 2x together, and now they're trying to pin in on him. Liastro looked so good earlier on, and ERR unfortunately not able to get the frag he needed, and Vatreni with the T-pistol.
Yeah, we see a pretty good tag teaming upon the side of to just negate all these pressure as well. So I gotta say, Liastro so far still having very, very sharp moves from his very end. And this time we do see a little bit of a buy coming in from the side of Vatreni. And a lot of utilities to expend. They won't be finding themselves cutting towards the southern side of the map, as they have already infiltrated through the lower side. But Strangers will be able to find a quick tap toward the head. H is out, and right down the stairs is where he has to hold, and the rest of Vatreni is going to see whether can they force them to back off.
So, crucial man advantage for BDGS, but the rest of the T's have already made their way towards A. Hazard is still towards short. So with this kill, could the CDs be tempted to rotate towards B? Oh, the kills just all come in the favor of Vatreni in the moment of a second. Somehow, BDGS, from possibly winning the round into realizing, oh, definitely lost it. It's... Oh.
Yikes. I mean, it just felt pretty bad. Like, you can see that Vatreni just squeezed their way in, and with that, Liastro still goes in with a MAC-10. And Strangers, with only a tick of health left, will not be able to hold out. So Vatreni now pushes it in for 2 points. And first, they've already got the initial pistol round, which giving them a little bit of a lead. Now, the biggest danger that BDGS will face is the AWP in the hands of Liastro so early to the game.
And so now, because of that, BDGS have to go for another half fight. Just a couple of deagles and a couple of 5-7s. And Vatreni, this should be a slightly easier round for them to put away, especially if they don't lose an opener. All 5 players up in towards middle though, so if Vatreni aren't careful, they might just walk into what is a gamble stack on the side of BDGS. Rainbow's Connector spots out a little bit of information. AWP out for Liastro as well. Stephen H looking pretty sharp on the map of Overpass so far.
That's right, and it seems to be that he's been able to actually find the opening pick time and time again. Now, 2 numbers down, and Liastro whipping that shot. Could have been a really easy one to just squeeze in, and yet again, it will still be a little bit of a bang just to clip the head of WAP 2X. So, of course, not having the right weapons to work with, they are just hoping to get a pick or 2. And of course, if they are hopeful enough, so members of the side of Vitreni should be able to land this plan down. And of course, balling their cord to just play this.
Easy pickings now, Vitreni. Easy as you like, just coasting home. Perhaps a bit unfortunate that the Mac-10 doesn't get a kill, right? Twice the kill bonus, but you know, what matters more for Vitreni is the fact that they keep all 5 weapons. So the fact that they've got a Mac-10 now might still suggest that they can go for a faster round. And because, you know, Sandman has been alive with the Mac-10, you can see BGS, they have to buy up with head armor. They can't take the sacrifice, and that could be the difference, right? Because you spend $350 less on head armor, you can use that cash to buy 2 flashes, right? If you're Nosataki with $50 left over. So, yeah, it's a minor detail, but Counter-Strike, it's all about the nuances. And at the moment, the trend, they're the master of that at the moment. BDGS having to cater to their opponent's buy.
Absolutely agree with you here. Like, with members of Vitreni being so sharp, and if it's not going to be the op, at least you can take a blow to the head and still managing to out-trade in a very sticky scenario. Now, holding down the lines, I believe that BDGS have already spotted slight patterns coming over the past 3 rounds already. And here comes a couple of incendiaries and every trouble on the line just to clear the passage. And they do get 2 kills on members of the side of BDGS. Now, stepping forward.
Oh,
This folks is Stevenage again! This guy is insane!
Yeah, not just insane, godlike at the moment. Nosataki will take down the Astro, Molotov will burn down Nosataki. Now the last remaining player, Wet2X, is going up towards one side. I think they've heard him, and yeah, they're gonna double peek him for this one as the tank himself in, and that's gonna be as easy as you like. Oh, Steven H, man.
Too good. Way too good. Like, can we just have a montage already for this guy? Like, for the amount of picks that he does get in the early bouts. And of course, just look at all these dollars that's out there. Like, they're pretty much stacked. So, they don't really have to worry if they were to lose one out. Now, Vitreni, of course, has taken real solid control. And, well, there we go.
Accidental show of affection from BDGS. No love lost between Wet2X and Strangers. But now that's gonna make their hold of Connector so much more difficult. Right, given that one player's already low. He spots out the shoulder first with the advantage from the right eye. Peak pops both heads of the players in Connector, and this is Underground being relinquished over towards the T side. For Vitreni, they haven't even had to kind of get out into second gear, right? They haven't gone to the A side, I believe. I think they've had one round when they've been on A, but that's it, right? Now Sandman just holding on to Connector. All the kills have come from this part of the map so far. Nosataki finally is able to put an end to the streak that Vitreni were on in terms of kills, but in terms of the round win, should still be a pretty undoable and irrecoverable situation.
And now, just having so many of these players coming to actually flush it out. My goodness, he does get 2 dropped out. But then again, you know, it was Vitreni's round to lose anyways. Like, I felt that it's really difficult when you only have pistols to fight against the other remaining members. And at the very least, they will have to force a little bit of economy coming out of the side of Vitreni and BDGS. This time, going for a full buy, as Stranger Ones will be the one holding the AWP this time around.
Yeah. Certainly a very strong T side opening from Vitreni, their own map pick as well. They've shown us a couple of good things, but we yet to see more from them, right? So the previous Garden round, we saw them take mid pretty convincingly. A smoke in towards toilet and a Molotov for divider. This time looks like something similar is coming in, right? Player holding for long progression as they slowly clear out the party. And Wet2X all on his lonesome will get taken down. Now the rest of the team speeding up, coming up from Connector. And now they've established banana control. Lurk Smoke as well being deployed. But look, BDGS, they're willingly given up the site in order to hold on to long control. Flash going over, player behind tree. The bomb is here though, so if it gets dropped, this could get a little bit sticky, but the kill still comes in. Strangers, the op has been shown. He's gonna fall back. Insane thinks better of it, considering he has the ball. What's the Contra? Ooh.
Well, I was just in awe. That's pretty much it. And Hazard alongside with Stewie. Even instead of Stewie. But he is almost behaving like Stewie in such a way. Now, they do get to the plan. And this time, we'll be looking to put it on a site that they hardly visited. Now, Vitreni once again has taken full control, and Zavale can what he can only do is just to save. There's no point going for any sort of contest. So perhaps he could play for X this time around. Well, I guess he's not going to reveal himself anyway, so we're just going to be waiting for the time to tick. So 6 points in for Vitreni, and BTGS, they're just falling back in this early game.
Yeah, it's very difficult for BDGS to point where things are going wrong for them right now. But Vitreni, they're hitting this A side as well. So if you're BDGS, you lost both sides. Perhaps the solution is to try and get a little bit aggressive. Try to find an opening pick and then just fall back off immediately. Because if you relinquish so much control to T's straight off the back, then you're just kind of sitting ducks when they do come in and execute onto your site, right? But now BDGS, they have to go on for another half buy just to save the M4 carried over, and perhaps a B rush coming out from Vitreni very far from the up input shot. All 5 players again concentrated in towards this mid portion of the map for BDGS. So if Vitreni do opt to go B, they just have an empty site open for taking.
Yeah, and this is a very risky maneuver coming out of the side of BDGS, but they want to make sure that they cover every ground possible, but they take that risky approach to just leave the B side. So now Nostaki is just having a little bit of a wait right down below as Zavale tries to cut across. And they heard all the shots at her, gets his more than one, and he misses the second shot. Stephen H will be able to connect, and Watsuke gets one back. But yet again, now down towards stage 3 versus 3, as Sandman comes in to flip off Watu-X.
BDGS unable to resist yet the unstoppable force that is Vitreni at the moment. Again, showing us that not only can they do it on that CT side, they can do it on the T side as well. Contra, do you have any recommendations for BDGS to try and get one round on the board? This is possibly their best chance to do it, right?
And exactly, and I just felt that they shouldn't really put too much of all these eggs in one basket early on, and well, they were just hoping to establish that control over mid, and they absolutely neglected certain areas. So now, at least having pretty much of a full buy here, they should be able to actually get a little bit more off the side of Vitreni. Now, having a little bit more of the flashbangs being popped up as well, as they do see a little bit more commitment towards the long side for Vitreni. But as it stands, it will be a little bit of a standstill at the moment. Vitreni playing with a little bit more discipline. Watu-X now with the op, and that will be Incendiary being sent up to just zone off the sniper of the side of BDGS.
Yeah, information denied now on the side of BDGS, and if you're Watu-X, you think twice before going back in for the re-peek, right? Clearing out long very meticulously as well. You can see the Molotov landing behind tree, which is where BDGS was playing at earlier. Ooh, spot off the op, still at divider, trying to find the opener, but gets deleted by Stephen H again. Players still in towards the toilet. Stephen H is able to find a trade, and this should be the A side open for taking. Rotate though. Rotate's coming in thick and fast on that CT side, and Vitreni a little bit of hesitation. Could this be the undoing? Because all 3 players are in towards CT and towards Bank. However, Vitreni, they're here ready to receive as well. Bomb will go down default.
And now Zavale needs to find that little bit of pixels. Yes, he will connect Getting a beautiful headshot at that as well. So just needing to find him.
Good
Incendiary just absolutely denies him any sort of chance to escape, and that will of course flip the member of Cyber. Like you said, this is the best chance, and oh my goodness, he missed that shot. Great connection coming from Sandman, but eventually it will be two members that still stands for BDGS, finding their first pointer in, and this defusal will come down, and finally stopping the bleeding.
Ooh, ERR not picking up the AK-47. I think his teammate might have tried to drop it closer to him for him to get it, but it didn't go for it. Instead, holding on to the M4. Might have been wiser to just pick up the AK, right? Because it has the one-shot headshot potential, and of course going up against T's with head armor equipped all across the board, that might be the advantage that you would have needed. But nevertheless, BDGS finally get around on the board, and now this is, you know, on Inferno we saw them do that twice as well, but each time Vitreni just responded in kind with one of their own. So BDGS, they need to string together a couple of rounds. Very difficult now, pushing, and Strangers pays for it again, just like that. A double man advantage established in the favor of the T's.
Oh man, after winning that round, they are getting a little bit careless this time.
Yeah.
And I just felt that this is quite a tough one to really swallow for the likes of BDGS. Going back to the old ways, and with a lot of control on its long, this will be an easy march up ahead, but with Hazard now popping a little bit of as well as flashbang, it will be a great connection coming from Strangers as well. CVH goes down, and now they also do find a little bit of opening here by taking down Zaville. They still want to find ways to find down, and reacts on the wrong timing, at the very least. And with that, Vitreni will get this one back on their side.
Well, it feels a bit too desperate for BDGS, right? You can see the fact that they lost both players and they were in spots that they were impossible to trade, right? A player up in towards Long holding on his lonesome with the AWP, and then the player in connector trying to rush the player who put down the Molotov. It's just a little bit odd. Perhaps BDGS, the players feel a lot of weight on their shoulders, feeling as though they have to be the ones to step up and, you know, try and take the game by the scruff of the neck and trying to bring it in the favor of their team. But, you know, coming back, it's a team game. ERR though opens things up.
Oh boy, that's gonna be a little bit of a sign of relief at the very least, going for the pick against Liastro. All of them on the AKs here, having some really good peaks. Oh, some of these shots not really connecting all too well, are still licking down the tunnels, as there won't be any members of the Vitreni that will be crossing over 1-2X. Now, making sure the coast is clear, there will be a little bit of a tossing that goes down as Strangers tries to get a little bit of flash out. Hazard now will be setting things up, and this actually lends pretty perfectly, and this should be a full push coming in.
Yeah, a lot of smokes deployed on the side, right? Smoke for the bin, as well as smoke for bank, and so the rotations, they're all locked up. They spot a gun barrel as well. A very convincing take, all things considered, for Vitreni. Now they've got forward positioning onto the side, using the to deny any sort of attempt at a retake. The boost gets spotted out, and well, Sandman with 2 kills, spotting out the first player being boosted, and then instinctively knowing the height of the player model and just wall banging the second guy down into shreds, putting them into the ground. Vitreni 9-1 now. BDGS, that was the buy that they had with that they could have mastered with the remaining cash. So now once again, it's a kind of it's an endless cycle, right? If you are able to pick rounds on the board. It's always one buy round and then you're down to half buy, one round and then back down to the pistol. So now trying desperately to try to find the opener, but just running into the T's, who are just sitting there with open arms. Sandman in towards long as well, finds Nosataki. Yeah, this is just... Ooh, okay. Hold that
Alright.
thought for a minute, because BDGS have been able to find 2 and retrieve 2 AKs.
Well, I think that's definitely the good sign coming in as the Bill gets the headshot as well. But that is a little bit unfortunate. Also, almost taking down Hazard, but that's all that they could have done. And now 10-1 in favor of the side of Vitreni. I think that the rush down towards the, I believe, connector is what you call it, right? So, I don't know. For BDGS, it felt like they were on a rush initially, and it didn't really work out with 2 members being dropped on the fly. But Vitreni this time will be dropping every single thing that they have on the line. It's time for them to enter Sandman with lots of things set up to build. Now getting flustered as well. Sandman from behind once more, getting some significant clutch plays, and Hazard will plant the bomb right on the ground, and still got incendiaries to deny the entries coming from BDGS.
Yeah, just 3 flashes remaining though, so this retake would be a little bit difficult to fend off, but that's considering if they do win the fights. BDGS will fight for the armor, and so now players have to run in, and the crossfire is being held just picture perfect from Vitreni. They know exactly what to do at every point in time. Sandman running onto site, leading the troops in after the trade kill, runs up to the site and jumps over his team's own smokes, finding the player, catching him just completely unaware up in water. And yeah, BDGS just caught, just kind of caught by surprise, right? The B rush completely at random from Vitreni, knowing it was a gun round as well. 4 for Mars and an AWP. I've never really seen that sort of the purchase before. And Vitreni, it looks as though they still want to hit this B side straight off the bat. Yeah, here they go.
Oh boy, it's Heavily Hazard that will be handing those shots in. That's going to be a double, and has a little bit of a helping hand coming from the side of Hazard. And there goes the Astro, leaving only 2 men behind. Vitreni, they're looking like they're on a time attack at the very least, as it's only down to Zavilla as well as Watt 2X. And with that plan already in set, I'm not even sure if BDGS should go in for the challenge, but Zaville, he's trying nonetheless, as he gets dropped by Stephen A.
Oh, Watt 2X has slipped the net, right? He's out towards Monster. The bomb's planted default, but 7 he's here. Will shoot Watt 2X from the side of the head, and yeah, yet another for Vitreni. That round, look, they changed it up, right? They have all 5 members been going towards B, but instead of doing a straight up B rush, they just throw what looks like standard utility for default, and then they just walk on in. You could see when the players took the side on, took the fight onto the players on B, there was no utility being thrown whatsoever. No smoke for Heaven, no smoke for side, no smoke for ABC, no flashes, just straight up duels. And yeah, BDGS once again completely caught unaware. Vitreni, it's so interesting to watch them play because they have a perfect read on their opponents.
That's right, and they are just so sharp. And this is where he sends an incendiary, forcing them to move right in. Insane! Just sweeps him like a book, and almost getting a triple at that as well. Now Lozataki tries to find a little bit of a peek upwards, but easily escaped the stairs, as there will be a little bit more of the implied pressure right down below. Just trying to do his best, knowing that there's still a member for Sonic Vitreni up there. The Astro just pointing the op right down below. But, you know, they have so much room to play. Vitreni just don't really have too much care in the world whether if they drop this one, because it looks to be that they are all too confident, and this is a really huge wraparound, and I believe that they're just going to be going in for the save, as they've already secured 2 AKs from their effort.
Heading into what would be the last round of the half as well, trying to give themselves a better shot at it. It's not over until it's over, but certainly does look like the days of BDGS are numbered in this tournament, although Nosataki does manage to preserve the AK and bring it over into round number 15, but 13-1. If you just take a look at the scoreboard, I think this map, it's been a little bit more reflective of how the game's truly been, right? Inferno, you could say that BDGS had a lot of close rounds. They were putting up a really good fight. But on Overpass, it just hasn't been exactly the same, right? Similar scoreline, but very different circumstances indeed.
That's right, and looking at these circumstances right now, to chase those 13 points to even consider for an overtime or, of course, a big sweep, very unlikely with Sandman around. Oh boy, Stranger ones. Be absolutely careful. Nozataki at least got covered up by taking down Liastro, and now having a widespread of members from the side of the defense, they won't be able to outpresent Insane with a spam of the AK to connect towards the side of Block 2X. Now, these troubles out, and Stephen H will be able to connect it through Nozataki as well. This time around, it should be pretty much an easy plant, and Stevie, oh Stevie, moving across Mount will be able to stop him from moving anywhere further. So this half looks to be pretty much well secured for Betreni.
Overpass looking like a really stronghold, like a really good stronghold for Betreni. This T side has looked absolutely impeccable from the T's, as they do net themselves 14 at the end of it. So, wow, this is incredible showing from Betreni. Not what I expected, I have to say. I wasn't really sure what to expect as well, but certainly they've given us a run for the money. Betreni is showing us why they could be as well, right up there with Firecrest as one of the favorites to go all the way, right? One thing to note though is that, you know, I think, if I'm not wrong, yeah, Firecrest and Betreni, they're on the same side of brackets as well. So they could meet each other in the semis. And it does look likely, and that would be a blockbuster semi-final to watch, I have to say. But second half underway, BDGS still not over yet.
I definitely agree. That itself is something that we will be keeping our eyes on if, whereas Betreni secures all these games. And speaking of which, Sandman now going for the taps. It will be a little bit of a beautiful connection, but the smokes are blocking their sights, making it a little bit tougher. Nozataki now trying to actually look for a pick. Yes, he does get the clip on towards Hazard. So, reload here, Stranger now. This looks to be convincing enough for BDGS. The hope is being kept alive.
Yeah, some light at the end of the tunnel. BDGS able to win the pistol off the back of B-Rush, but Betreni perhaps not expecting, you know, what they did themselves to be dealt to them. So a taste of their own medicine, as they will call it. BDGS able to find the second, but of course will not want to be losing to what is basically a full eco. One flash seems to suggest that, yeah, all 5 players up in towards middle, perhaps waiting for BDGS to come calling before taking all the fights, but BDGS, they think better of it and decide, you know what, let's go back to B, rush B again boys, let's go. And they're gonna find themselves an empty bomb site with open arms.
That's right, now going back to the waters as we are seeing another easy plan, but Sandman's gonna be able to go in for the flank. So where they will unleash the no. And this guy, he's been pummeling everyone he sees.
Oh, not like this.
The turn one coming in. Can he actually clutch it off? We are looking at Stephen H being dropped on the ground and only having a tick of health left. This will be Betreni here to turn the tides, and they put it to a map point.
Oh, the full eco Contra. They had one flash and they didn't really get to use it to full effect yet, but yet they win it. Sandman emerging from the round with 7.9k in his bank. Liastro being able to purchase some AWP. That's a round that never should have been for Betreni and BDGS. We talked about them perhaps having a little bit of hope. It's been absolutely crushed by that CT side now.
Oh my, that round was such a tough one for BDGS here to just take right in. And speaking of which, Liastro will be bringing the pain with a double as they do connect. And you just look at the names coming up, and it's only Zavil left on the block. they can take it slow, but Trenny knows that this is their game. Pretty much secured it back. And here you go, the winners in the quarterfinals. As Trenny here has been emerging to show solid performance across the two past maps that we've witnessed. Well, what can we take from here is that we will have a blockbuster semifinals as Vitreni will be bound to face off against the likes of the team that we've witnessed early on. And man, oh man, we're getting some good games eventually.
Yeah, and there seems to be a little bit of hype surrounding the game between Fortes and Firecrest as well. Maybe Fortes is another name to look out for. So yeah, for sure, I think this side of the bracket looking quite insane at the moment. But Vitreni, what a dominant showing, right? BDGS, it wasn't to say that they necessarily played too bad or necessarily were very far away from their opponents, but as a team, you could see Vitreni, they were just incredible, right? It helped that Liestro was incredible with the AWP, but at the same time, you could see Overpass, they rarely had AWP kills, right? Sandman leading the charge for Vitreni. I think that sums up the state of affairs. Is a rifler. He's normally the second guy in, I believe, but he's been finding so much space, and yeah, Vitreni just winning a lot of duels across the board, picking their fights and choosing them wisely and winning them. That's all that matters, especially on Overpass. And yeah, it's an incredible showing, right? So now, if you do face up against Vitreni later on, you gotta think twice about letting Overpass through in the veto for sure.
That's right, and I gotta say that Sandman, alongside with his teammates, are really working in tandem, and it's not only the full effort coming from this particular MVP that we've just witnessed. We see Liestro being so lethal when you pass him that AWP, and not only that, we just had so many of all these big plays and big brain ones, in fact. So I felt that, BDGS, they did play some really good rounds here and there, but it didn't seem like they actually had a grasp when they were on the counter-terrorist side, and it really felt like that really hurt them quite a lot on the very first half. And second half, they did get the opening round pistols, and that's pretty much it. 1 point apiece on each half is definitely insufficient. So, well, I definitely hope to see more to come from this team, and hopefully we'll see them participating in the upcoming RG Masters Asia Pacific in the Indonesia finals once again.
Yeah, commiserations to BDRG, but Vitreni, they go marching on. So again, another fast game. It seems to be the name of the game so far, but I'm pretty sure when we move on to the semis, it's going to be very close affair, right? So far, yeah, Vitreni, we talked about it, we said it enough times now, it's incredible, right? Whereas for the side of BDGS, I think, yeah, they had a couple of good signs going, but the consistency from Vitreni in just the decision making and being able to pick the right duels, close out the rounds, that was the difference between the two teams, and that will be why Vitreni booked themselves a slot in the semifinals. Of course, for Indonesia, 3 slots on the line. So the fact you've made it top 4, you're almost there. Not quite just yet, not secure, given that one team will still drop out, but certainly very close indeed. But for now, we'll be heading into the break. Before that, after that, we'll be coming back with our semi-finals. But still, a couple of games ongoing. I think they will just pop up on the stream as well. So for those in the chat who are anticipating the game between Fortes and Firecrest, I think you might be able to catch your friends in action, or the team that you support in action. So don't go too far away, because we'll be right back after the break. But for now, enjoy the rest of RG Masters APAC 2021.
Come and take me by the hand. Do you have some time off, nothing planned? Oh, 'cause I wanna take you for a ride. Now I wanna let the feeling go. I wanna let the feeling go. Can you feel the wind on your skin? And can you feel how your world spins? Come to me and take my hand. I think I start to understand. Oh, this must be our second